Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 5 of this Little Mermaid journey. My plan for this episode is to tackle the inside of the castle. We're going to do Eric's castle, and that's why I put him down as a second profile. You can see his house behind me here. There's a lot of space out here, so the very first thing I want to do is try and encircle this house and make it look a little bit more like an inner castle. Then I have a ton of space that needs to be covered in this path pattern. It is a big, wide, open courtyard that's going to be part of the inside of the castle, so it's going to be a pretty big project to get all of this area covered in. I haven't completely decided how to cover this house up, so I'm just going to do this here with you guys together and put down some of these castle pieces and see how they sort out in front of this building. It's kind of important to be able to get a little bit of this inner space looking more like a castle to me, mostly because the house by itself doesn't make a lot of sense. At the same time, I really want to have some indoor room so that we can put some interior decoration into the castle. So we've got to fit it into the area somehow. I'm hoping that if there's room for 2 of the walls, I can put a couple of the medieval sides here in the front and have the right amount of space for the entryway, have an extra arch that goes straight into the building. The space doesn't always work out the way you want to on the castle, so fingers crossed that it looks okay and that there's enough room that I can walk in front of it to get back and forth between the castle to the right of me here. Just ignore that balloon. I don't have a slingshot on me, and I know that can be really annoying. Just focus on the castle. Things seem to be going okay as I'm getting everything put into place. I like it so far, but I can already tell that I'm a little bit off balance. Let me get this fixed up and even real quick. Things are pretty even. If I'm right, this gate will just fall right down in the middle. Oh, I love that. I think that's exactly what I had in mind. You can still see the house behind it, but I can't get around that. There's no real way to cover the house up. I am pretty pleased with the way that this worked out. Let's get that path put down. That path was pretty straightforward, and yet it took forever to get everything down. I love the way it came out, and I'm really happy, but I'm glad to have this part of the path done. For some reason, it sort of came together different than I expected it to. Now that the whole path in the plaza area is done, it is time to get to decorating because we have a lot of fun to do. My goal for the inside of the castle was to make it look mostly rustic and as if it was coming out of the movie, but also to elevate it a little bit from the rest of the area. So I went ahead and used street lamps on the inside of the castle and just on the outside a little bit. We are going to pretend as if the street lamps are being lit by candles because I don't imagine that they had electricity at this point in the story that we're telling. These beautiful ash trees do a really good job of filling in some elegant green space just below the castle wall where you otherwise can't see anything and that particular space gets lost. So I really like the way that those came out in the area. I initially left this beautiful square in the middle right in front of the castle door as a place for the flower boxes, and as soon as I put them down I realized they were way too small for the space that I had planned. I left them there for now, but decided probably real flowers were going to be better for that area. Meanwhile, I moved over here to get the gazebo down in place and just figure out the right spacing here for the benches and trees and all the different little decorations that I had decided might fit the area. The Aquarius urn has a little bit of that beautiful gold rim, so it looked wonderful here in a castle where I was trying to make it look affluent and very regal. I was also really excited to start putting the gold armor out. It made them look as if they were guarding the area, and while the ones to the outside of the castle gates are all silver, the ones here to the inner castle area are gold. I finally decided I would go ahead and move the flower pots over here to the left side where I hadn't really figured out what I was going to be doing anyhow, and that all worked out really well. I really wanted to put the cannon and some really fun looking, sort of less regal items over here. So I have the barrels and the cannons and just some crates and things that would look a little bit more like they were protecting the castle. When I think about castles, I always do think a little bit about cannons and the type of things that they use to keep everything safe, particularly where this is supposed to be a very nautical environment. After that, I just started putting down a little bit of the elegant and more rustic items that I had in my pocket, and then I would go back to my storage and see what else I had and back and forth. I've already included everything that I had planned to include. I went ahead and made a bird bath for the middle of the flowers, dropped some brand new fresh flowers in place, and it's time to go do the inside of the castle. I finished everything for the inside and outside of the castle. I just want to show you guys how it came out. I feel amazing about the way that everything came together. You'll notice I came back in and added some of the beautiful hedges. I just needed a little bit more height and dimension and just some green to sort of pop around the corner in quite a few of the areas in here. Adding that hedge brought a lot of the area together and just made it look more polished, which is definitely something I wanted for the inside of the castle area. I completed the inside of Eric's castle when I was off camera because I kept having to order 5 items at a time, drop them off, put them in, and then restart. So I can't wait to show you what the inside of it looks like now. Let's go check it out. The very first room in here is the Throne Broom. There are definitely 2 thrones because I think Ariel might be on her way to one of them, and I really like the way that the curtain and the chandelier bring the ceiling elements down to make it look a little bit more regal. There are a lot of candles in here just to make things look nice and old-fashioned, and in behind the throne room is the bedroom area. Just like the throne room, I really wanted it to look regal but also old-fashioned, so it has a lot of the big beautiful artwork and candles of all sorts in here. There's even a little bowl because, you know, they didn't have plumbing back then, so things were a little different. Once we go back into the throne room, I'm going to take you in the left side here. This brings us into the dining room. I always remember the dining room scene in the actual movie from the Disney version. I really like the way that she picks up the fork and uses it, and I wanted to make sure the dining room was included in the storyline. Maybe just because that scene made me laugh so much, but also because I thought it looked really beautiful and grand. Walking across the throne room one last time is going to bring us into the other really iconic areas in the castle, and that is going to be the chef's kitchen. This area was very amusing to put together. I used a lot of the dishes that are fish inspired and even put in one of the lobsters and the fish in here just because we knew that was a big part of the storyline when we have Sebastian in the kitchen. I wanted to include some of the elegant dishes as if they were going into the dining room, but the rest is super rustic. I hope you guys like taking a look at the inside of Eric's castle, and I will definitely be introducing you to Eric sometime very soon here around the corner, but that's all the time we have for today. I hope you found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.